Let's go!
Talking about guardian caps, and they look like big padded helmets and were mandated for certain position players over the training camps for the last couple of seasons. But now the NFL says that players can wear them during actual games. The league saying they contributed to a nearly 50% reduction in concussions for the position groups that wore them during training camp. In a statement, the NFL writing, "We now have 2 years of data showing significant concussion reductions among players who wear guardian caps during practice."
Don't kill me.
Oh, that's a bad sentence.
Please.
So this process began a few years ago when the NFL started to require players to wear the guardian cap during practice. It started off with just linemen and a few other positions, but now in practices, all players outside of quarterbacks and specialists are required to wear them.
The guardian cap is what's known as an add-on to a helmet. It basically is a layer that goes over a helmet, attaches with elastic straps, and it contains padding. And that padding is intended to reduce the severity of impact by reducing the forces and motions that eventually make it through the head. The guardian cap has been out there for many years, used at universities and high school.
So this is the guardian cap that our players will be wearing this summer for training camp. Guardian cap helps head impacts up to 10% if one player is wearing it, and up to 20% reductions in head impacts if both players are wearing the guardian cap. It sits on just like that.
I think that you're always trying to be as safe as possible when you're playing this game. Any little thing that can prevent injuries or make the game safer, why not try it?
The players have been very receptive to it. We did use it with the LA Rams last year.
So now that we all know what a guardian cap actually is, let's dive a little bit deeper and get a few more expert opinions, including one from a future Hall of Famer.
I will always act in your best interest, particularly as it pertains to your health and safety. I'm morally obligated to keep this damn group safe, and I promise you, you're going to get that commitment from me.
It's basically a soft layer of padding that you can see that fits over the shell of the helmet. You're talking about 12 to 14 ounces. As you can see, it's really flexible, out of a flexible material. So it's a negligible amount of weight.
I am 100% pro guardian cap. In the world we live in today, where there's more science, there's more knowledge. Sadly, a player passes away and they use their brain to see, what's maybe going on in there, and you're seeing a lot of CTE. I'll be wearing it all season long in practice, and that's an option. I think they come off after the second preseason game, but I think it's a fantastic thing.
And I feel this next opinion from a former NFLer who coaches at the lower levels will open your eyes on youth involvement.
The biggest difference I've noticed in my days of playing and now is just, the awareness. This is going my 4th year as a head coach here at Pace Academy, and the big thing for us was just losing kids, because when the whole concussion syndrome kind of, started, parents were a little apprehensive about kids playing. And then once we start wearing the Guardians, we picked up 5 to 6 kids every year, because now parents have a sense of protection, safety for their kids.
Cam, man, would you be rocking the Guardian cap to help?
Hell yeah.
You would have played with the cap on?
You ever got concussed? It just gonna minimize my concussions. Because when you get one concussion, you're more susceptible to get a second one sooner rather than later. It's harder to get the first one.
Anytime you can add an extra leg, smiling and happy with what they did, but we want them to be walking. We want them to be healthy.
But not everyone is on fire about the new technology.
But until you do OTAs and you're actually going against an offense, and I know you're just wearing helmets, probably with those stupid pillows on top too.
I do think because of the soft blow, it's kind of lending to players using their heads a little bit more. Time will tell, but it's just interesting with those guardian caps and what exactly are we trying to accomplish.
They look like condoms on the helmet. Look like helmet condoms.
I mean, I've seen them things for practice and stuff, and oh man.
I don't think nobody's gonna do it.
And it's a good question posed by the Raw Room. This is an optional thing that players can do for games.
All right, so let's start with the New York Jets. So the shells will either be green or black.
There is a strong argument against guardian caps, not for safety, but for the aesthetic.
It looks like crap.
It does.
It takes away from the presentation of the game.
It looks stupid.
It takes away from the logos and all those things that they've been marketing.
Yeah.
How do you ever make that look good when you have that big giant padding on top of the helmet. It doesn't look good. And one of the reasons football is so popular is it looks good on TV.
Definitely.
People find it compelling. And most people are going to see that and say, that's not the football that I like watching on TV.
I would agree.
I accept it for training camp practices.
Yeah.
I accept it for practices.
Sure.
But I don't want to see players wearing those during a game, and I don't think players want to wear those.
No.
You talked about how you look in your uniform.
Look good, play good.
You don't want to have that big clunky thing on top of your
Definitely
head during
not.
a game.
That's where I think it won't happen, because I don't think the NFLPA or the players are ever going to really want to wear it for a game either. So, listen, we're doing the right things. We're getting there in this conversation. We don't have to totally rehaul the greatest game we have in our country right now. We're making it safe. And again, I'll go back to something I said a long time ago. I never thought playing football was good for my health. I never was sitting there going, I watched my dad get crushed by Reggie White all these years, and now I'm getting crushed by Ray Lewis. Damn it, I'll probably live to 97 now. Damn, I'm going to be, come on. These guys, we know what we signed up for a little bit.
Does everyone recognize this? Everyone knows what this is. This is a Guardian shell.
And maybe there's technology out there that doesn't require a soft cap. This is Billy Ard of Safer Sports with his new product.
Then we came back and he said, well, this is our product. And people are saying, what do you mean? This is a helmet. We're like, no. Our shell, our ProTech is on this helmet. So we passed this around to everyone, and people couldn't believe that this was actually something that's going to reduce impact, like the Guardian. But the difference is this: our numbers are significantly better than the Guardians. Theirs is fine. Ours are really good. But also, look at the difference. Ours is game day ready. This is something that you put on and you don't take off. You don't take off. Our shell helps protect the helmet, so there should be no chipping of the helmet. Paint should stay intact on the helmet. Therefore, we can save money on reconditioning.
One of the more underrated aspects of football is how the players actually look in their uniforms. They care a little bit more about it than you would probably think. That's why you've seen so many players switch to the single-digit jersey number, even though they have to pay thousands in order to do so. So anything that takes away from the look, like the padded helmet would, is something that they will avoid. Now, I want you to listen really closely to this next portion from a helmet expert.
Here we go. The number one safest helmet you can buy right now on the market. That's going to be the Visus O2 Trench. Now, this is the first position-specific helmet available on the market. What they did is they took the Visus O2 and then they added this deformable bumper to the front of the helmet. But a lot of people just don't like the way it looks. In fact, the only people that have really been going to it are people that I think that need it, like Alex Mack, and he convinced Nick Bosa after his last concussion to switch over to it.
Now, this next point is perfectly illustrated by the great Rick Barry. So, Wilt Chamberlain, one of the worst free throw shooters ever, switched over to the granny shot that Rick Barry popularized, and he shot the best percentage ever in his career, just for Wilt Chamberlain to go back to the old way of shooting free throws, and his percentages never recovered because he didn't want to look like, quote, a sissy, right? And if things are more effective, but they look bad like the Visus O2 helmet, well, players just aren't going to do it, even though it makes them safer and it has no real effect on their actual in-field performance. And it's because people want to look good.
This is a type of test apparatus, helmet test apparatus, that's called a linear impactor, or it's called a pneumatic ram in the helmet standards, but it's really designed to replicate the helmeted head of one player striking the helmeted head of another player.
So let's take Riddell. This is one of the most popular helmet brands in the entire planet. And as you can see, they spend a lot of time and resources when it comes to studying which helmets are truly the safest. And their brand new Axiom helmet, unlike the Visus O2, actually looks pretty slick and futuristic. So this is a traditional Riddell helmet, but now you see they removed the top bar, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who used to wear a Riddell, also rocks this Axiom. Well, The truth is, helmets have always been evolving. Take a look at Peyton Manning. He's got the lineman face mask, and this is over a decade ago. This type of face mask was unfreaking believably popular. In fact, it came out when I was playing. So, do you believe the new Guardian caps should be used in games next year? I really do believe it takes away from the aesthetic. Now, I'll still watch, but when you really think about the minimalism in modern day jerseys, the brand is really shown on the helmet, right? That logo is so heavily intertwined with fans of the teams and just neutral fans around the world. So, and we wouldn't have the Patrick Mahomes flying off into the Kansas City air versus a Dolphins chunk of his helmet story. So if you love these explained series, boom, this is the new NFL kickoff rules, and boom, a tackle that has been banned. We'll see ya. Let's go.